unfortunately, I can't take full credit for it. I have a twin sister who did help me, and she couldn't be here today. There are also many people that have contributed to the project, members of the SEM 300, members of SGA, my mentor, Dr. Zurich, and the Loquitter staff. So I want to thank you all for being here. It means a great deal to me. Also, I want to discuss a little bit why we did choose to do this project. Our SEM 300 studied the genocide in the Darfur region of Sudan, Africa. Our research into the causes of the genocide led us to investigate potential humanitarian and political remedies. In this regard, we examined legislative proposals and resolutions, past actions, and potential policies of the U.S. State Department, and diplomatic initiatives of the United Nations. We also explored actions and proposals of various humanitarian organizations, like Kat Brachelli services. We further studied student activism on the issue and interviewed leaders of the Student Anti-Genocide Coalition. Our Cabrini education at the heart has led us to consider how to move from the knowledge that we acquired to action. As communication majors, we become actively engaged in informing others by writing a news article and an editorial about the genocide. It was through the education that we gained that we were able to form our own opinion about the issue. Right now, we are in the process of producing a multimedia slideshow based on our research and interviews in order to gain the interest of fellow students. In addition, we have participated in sending letters to Congress as part of the SEM 300, as well as working with the SGA to start a STAND chapter on campus, which we'll talk a little bit more about later in detail. Finally, so that efforts may be sustained, we are hoping to develop a political lobbying campaign to go forward into subsequent years. Before I discuss about the action on campus and response of students, I want to go over a little bit about what's going on in Darfur, because not many people are informed about the issue. It gets very little coverage on the news. I think last year they said on ABC it got 11 minutes of news coverage. And right now it's getting a little bit more press from the media. The New York Times is reporting on it. They have two reporters that really go back and forth. They have Nick Kristoff and Lisa. But I just think it's important that we go through it. The handouts that you have that Meg gave you kind of shows you where everything is located, and it gives you a brief, very brief description about everything that's going on. You could read pages and pages of this and find out something new every day, but it's constantly changing. And this is something that was provided by Stan, like I said, that we'll discuss later. The ongoing conflict began in February of 2003 with two Darfurian rebel groups rising against the Khartoum government of the Sudanese capital. The rebel groups, who identify as African peasants and Arab nomadic herders, felt the need to take a stand against the Khartoum government. The rebel groups launched an uprising as they faced poverty, neglect, and the need for greater resources. The Sudanese government responded with the Janjaweed, a militia drawn from members of the Arab tribes to attack rebel groups. And this is all gathered from the Catholic Relief Services. These are just a few of the stats which we'll discuss later. Numerous humanitarian organizations have been forced to pull out. July 2006 was the worst month for the attacks on those that remain. The lives of people in the Western Sudan region of Darfur have been claimed by a continuous genocide, which was declared in 2004 by President Bush. This is just to give you an idea of what some of these people are suffering right now in Darfur. This is one of the villages that was burned down by the Janjaweed. The Darfur region has left thousands of villages destroyed, millions starving and battling diseases while facing rape and murder. In addition, 400,000 are dead, 2.5 million displaced, and 10,000 are dying every month since 2003. Now, as students, we're trying to raise awareness and take action to help the people of Darfur, Sudan. Many people, when they heard that we're trying to raise awareness about this situation, just kind of laughed and said, hey, how can a student do that? It was actually discussed in our SEM 300. They're in Africa, you're a student, what can you do? I think the best thing that we can do is educate people about the subject and see how we can get the word out. And the one thing that we did find that can appeal to students and that you can do on a college campus is starting a STAND chapter, which we're working with the Student Government Association to do right now. STAND is a Student Genocide Anti-Genocide Coalition and is an umbrella organization of over 600 high school and college chapters dedicated to putting an end to genocide, specifically the ongoing genocide in Darfur, Sudan. STAND has chapters around the United States, as well as chapters in Ghana, Singapore, Kuwait, South Africa, China, Brussels, and more. STAN formed out of the rapidly growing student movement to protect Darfur and works to unify this anti-genocide movement under one message by providing students with informational, educational, and organizing resources, empowering them through an extensive network of impassioned student activists and advocating for a change in the world's mentality toward genocide. I was lucky enough to meet with some of the coordinators of STAN and just discuss what their goals were. They were so passionate about everything and how to get it started on campus. We actually talked a lot about it in our SEM 300. I talked about it with members of the SGA. But the amount of time that they put into it is amazing. There was one student who put almost 36 hours just into working with the STAN chapter. The primary objectives for STAN are to increase consciousness nationally and abroad of presently occurring genocides, take nonpartisan political action for a swift and sustainable solution to the crisis. And it's also to coordinate national and international efforts to achieve the goals above. What can we do to help? STAN helps students with a way to help resolve the genocide in Darfur. Some of the activities that STAN participates are in lobbying government representatives, calling or writing members of Congress, donating to relief organizations, or demanding further media attention. They also plan or attend rallies and vigils, and they tell friends and family to spread the word in their communities. Right now, I know that the Student Government Association is working and they're fundraising by selling bracelets in regards to Darfur. Also, hopefully, once they gain enough student interest, they will start this chapter on campus. The reason we're starting with such a young class is because we wanted to continue, so we went right to the sophomore class. And like I said, we are working to make the movement on campus.